9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. My name is Chris Hand. Mac Morey's producing. Ken Weaver's in the newsroom. You guys on the phone lines and the Members Nutrition text line 615-737-9986. Biden is hosting the president of Kenya right now at the White House. They're doing it live on CNN. It's early. It's early for him to be doing an event. How much stuff do they have to give him to get hopped up this early in the morning, you think? Probably a lot. He's walking in. Any relevant audio that comes out, we'll have that for you. On the way today, Pastor John Amachukwu, he's going to join the show at 9:35. He's got a new book coming out. He's also got a big event happening in Florida, and he just went to another school board a couple days ago to read them the perverted books that are in their own library and ask them, guys, what's going on? So we're going to talk with Pastor John. Looking forward to that. Also on the show today, we have Biden canceling student debt, digging into the oil reserves, Nikki Haley endorsing Trump, Fox News covering the Hunter Biden docs, and did he commit perjury to the House during that closed-door deposition? We have all that. But I want to start with what I think is going to be the most important story. I think I became a Chiefs fan last night.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's a huge story.
It's huge.
What did it take?
It took seeing Mahomes and Andy Reid stick up for Harrison Butker. And I have to applaud them for that. It would have been so easy to run away from this story and hide. Mahomes, he was asked about Harrison Butker. What did they have, media day yesterday? Is that what was going on? Everybody's getting ready for the next season?
Yeah, OTAs, yeah.
So everybody's getting ready, and obviously these questions are kind of come up. And Mahomes danced around it a little bit and said, hey, these are not necessarily my views. But I'll be honest with you, the way he stuck up for his kicker, I have to give him a pat on the back. Obviously, Harrison Butker has been in the news. He gave a commencement speech at a Catholic university and had the audacity to share Catholic conservative views. That monster. So the media has been demonizing him, but his teammates, his coach, they stick up for him.
I know Harrison. I've known him for 7 years, and I judge him by the character that he shows every single day, and that's a good person. That's someone who cares about the people around him, cares about his family, and wants to make a good impact in society. When you're in the locker room, there's a lot of people from a lot of different areas of life, and they have a lot of different views on everything, and we're not always going to agree, but and there's certain things that he said that I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand the person that he is, and he's trying to do whatever he can to lead people in the right direction, and that might not be the same values as I have, but at the same time, I'm going to judge him by the character that he shows every single day. That's a great person, and we'll continue to move along and try to help build each other up to make ourselves better every single day. But at the end of the day, we're going to come together as a team, and I think that'll help out as well as eliminating those distractions outside the building as well.
Honestly, I was impressed. Surprised and absolutely impressed. He's a great leader. He stuck up for his kicker. It's amazing because when you look at the mainstream media, they've been doing nothing but demonizing him. Chelsea Handler, she smeared the kicker as a misogynist Bible thumper. That's what she thought. He's a misogynist Bible thumper. Luckily, his teammates didn't think the same, and his coach didn't think the same either.
The guys are good with that. They understand. I mean, they understand how things work. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion. And that's what's so great about this country. You can share those things, and you work through it. And that's what guys do.
Yeah, that's what guys do. I love it. It gave me a little bit of hope for pro sports when I hear those guys sticking up for him instead of running away, being worried about their endorsement deals, being worried about this, being worried about that, their image, the PR. Like, no, that's my guy. Classy. Class act move from Mahomes. Class act move from Andy Reid. And I became a Chiefs fan. I honestly, like, not even a joke. I gained so much more respect for Mahomes having his guys back than running away from it. I can't really even put that into the right words, how much he raised his profile to me. when everybody's demonizing this guy, to be like, no, that's nonsense. Like, that's my guy. Classy.
What makes the locker room so cool is you're able to have those discussions and become better and make those decisions for yourself. And so even though there are very vast, I guess, differences as far as those speeches happening at the same time, I mean, you're able to talk to guys and you get knowledge and you make your own decisions at the end of the day. And I think that's what makes this country so great, is that you're able to get as much knowledge as you can and then you make your own decisions. And it gets a little divisive sometimes when you get to social media and you get to outside the building, but in the building, you can have those healthy discussions and still be friends at the end of the day, even though you might not agree with exactly the same things.
So I know you said that you didn't think that the Chiefs would pick him up after his contract is up, but I mean, when you listen to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, it's like, yeah, he's probably going to get picked back up.
Yeah, it's just about money at that point. But yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the ownership backed him up as well, so we'll see.
It wasn't just his own team either. The Dolphins head coach stuck up for him as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the coach of the Miami Dolphins, what's his name?
Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels. He said Butker has a right to express his beliefs. He said that it's a non-story. I mean, it was the story during all these interviews. But during a press conference at their team facility in Miami, a reporter asked Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniels for his thoughts about how he would handle a player wanting to speak out on political issues. And he said, I'm glad you asked. I think you have to open the eyes of players to their platform if they're new to the situation. I think they have to understand that what you say can probably be fragmented and last with you forever. So I really emphasize that whatever you're going to say, you better believe it. You just try to educate people to understand the consequences of whatever they do. It's like, whatever you're going to say, believe it. And I think for Harrison Butker, he absolutely 100% stands by what he said, believes in what he said. And I don't think it was as divisive as the media wants to make it. Andy Reid didn't think it was as divisive as the media wants to make it. They asked him if he talked to Harrison Butker about this. Did you sit him down, coach? Did you have a stern talking to him?
I didn't talk to him about this. Didn't think we need to. We're a microcosm of life here. Everybody from different areas, different religions, different races. And so we all get along. We all respect each other's opinions, and not necessarily do we go by those, but we respect everybody to have a voice. It's a great thing about America, man. And we're just, like I said, a microcosm of that. And I wish, my wish is that, everybody could kind of follow that.
Yeah. He didn't need to talk to Harrison Butker. He was asked about the women on the staff coming to him with concerns because, the comments where he praised his wife for being a homemaker and devoting her life to the kids and the home. That's misogynistic. So the reporters were concerned about the women on the staff, and they asked Andy Reid, have they come to him with concerns?
With so many women just on staff here and in the building, his comments kind of touched on women in the workforce. What do you tell them if they come to you with a concern about players speaking ill of women in general?
Yeah, that hasn't happened. I don't think he was speaking ill to women, but
I love it. Yeah, that hasn't happened, and I don't think he was speaking ill to women.
He has his opinions, and we all respect that. I let you guys in this room, and you have a lot of opinions that I don't like.
Fair. I honestly, I saw this. I was so impressed with the way they handled that. They didn't throw their guy under the bus. And that would have been the absolute easiest thing to do. Butker's speech was absolutely divisive, and it doesn't represent my views. And they would have gone on to the next question, but they didn't. They said, listen, that's our guy. He's a great guy, Patrick Mahomes said. He's a great guy. Couldn't have any more respect for the organization and for those guys, honestly. A lesser league would have thrown him under the bus. A lesser team would have ran away from him. They would have cut him. And those guys said, nah. Classy.
So you're rooting for the Chiefs this season?
No, I didn't.
That's what I was hearing.
I'll root for them to win by a field goal. How about that?
Okay, yeah, there we go.
As long as they win by 3, I'm fine with it. Related to the Chiefs, a new poll is out. Have you seen this poll?
No.
I mean, it's tightly woven in with the Chiefs at this point.
Okay.
Majority of voters say Taylor Swift won't influence their vote.
Shocking,
right? A new poll has found that a majority of respondents wouldn't be influenced by a Taylor Swift presidential endorsement, signaling a possible decline in Swift's power as a political influencer after she endorsed Joe Biden in 2020. Well, everybody knows who she's going to endorse, right? If she does.
Well, yeah.
If she does. You see these celebrity endorsements, and I think at this point, everybody's like, we don't care. We don't care. We have our guy. The power of celebrity is definitely dwindling in this country. And yeah, you endorsed Joe Biden last time. So we already assume that that's the route you're going to go. Or you're going to go the route like Charlemagne on The View and run away from endorsing anyone at all. Because endorsing Joe Biden is just a bad look. It's a bad look. And it's a bad look because of Bidenomics. Honestly, it comes down to the economy. Nobody can afford anything anymore. Bidenomics is hitting everybody, from the youngest voters who can't afford rent or buying a house to the oldest voters who realizing that Bidenomics isn't exactly good to retirees.
I've been back to work twice already, but now with watching the grandchildren, trying to help out the younger generation, I've had to look for work that can work with my schedule. The economy is not great, and the inflation costs are just unbelievable.
I work full-time as a groundskeeper in an apartment home community. I want to say my pension, law enforcement, is a very good pension. I feel very blessed, and I appreciate that very much. But it just goes to show you that even us so-called retired folks, it's just not enough under today's current economy.
No, and I feel for retired folks so much during this economy, because if you're on a fixed income, inflation has absolutely ravaged you and your budget. When you have X amount coming in, your bills are X amount, you think that that's going to be good for the next 10, 15, 20 years of your life, and then you realize, no, I need X amount more for groceries. I need X amount more for energy. I need X amount more for insurance. Your fixed budget, you're screwed at that point. So no, we don't care what celebrities think. We don't. It's care
working.
About it's not, and that's the point. We care about the bottom line. The bottom line is Joe Biden's absolutely ruined this country. It's 9:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Don't forget, 9:35 today, Pastor John Amachukwu. He's going to be joining the show. We got a lot more to get to. 615-737-9986. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We got hot weather. It's not going to be going anywhere. It's going to be here for good. Is your AC working the way it needs to be? Is it running at maximum efficiency? If it's not, you need to get that annual maintenance. What are you waiting for? I'm going to be honest with you. I was waiting. I was ignoring the text I got saying it's time to tune up your AC. And then I had an issue with it. Yep. I waited for a problem to pop up before I called Busy Bee. Had dirty coils. Super embarrassed about it. Don't really want to get into it. It's too embarrassing. Don't be like me. Get your annual maintenance from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Now, whether you need that annual maintenance or you need repair or even replacement, plumbing, heating, or air system, the guys that I need you to call are Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you need to replace that AC, you're feeling it right now, you won't find a better value on replacement systems. Busy Bee will offer up to 12 months with no payment, no interest, with approved credit, and it'll pay in so many ways to become a member of that Beehive Club. When I had my issue, I'm a member of the Beehive Club. I called Busy Bee, said I'm a Beehive Club member. They were at my home in less than an hour. Because when you're a Beehive member, you get priority front of the line service. You get 3 annual tune-ups, 1 on your heating, 1 on your cooling, 1 on your plumbing, 10% discount on all repairs, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. I know what you're thinking, like, all that value, it's got to be crazy price to become a Beehive member. Like, what are we talking? $400, $500? No. $99. $99, and you get all that value from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Busy Bee's your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Online, busybehvac.com.
Traffic right now, Williamson County seeing stop and go 840 westbound. They're at Almaville, about an 8-minute delay right now. NOAA has released its prediction for the upcoming hurricane season. Looks like another U.S. shipment of arms and ammunition to Ukraine soon. New jobs numbers, and here are storm survivors' story at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Hey, after Ken Weaver's newscast, we got Pastor John Amanchukwu. He's going to be joining the show. He's got a book coming out on Monday, May 28th.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, timing's perfect.
Yeah, that's great.
The book's going to be really good. It's called Hoodwinked. 10 Lies Americans Believe and the Truth That Will Set Them Free. This is John's second book. His first one was called Erased, which was also fantastic. So we're going to talk to him about a litany of things, including his recent appearance at a Missouri school board meeting. It was wild.
Spicy?
Yeah, it's always spicy because he's reading the books that are in the library.
Wow.
And then people are upset with him. And he's like, but this is what you have. This is what you have for high schoolers and middle schoolers and elementary school kids. And they get mad at him. And he's like, I'm just reading the book that you guys have for kids. So it's always spicy. He said that this is the wokest school board in America that he dealt with.
Whoa.
I know.
Missouri?
That's what he said.
Wow.
That's what he said, the wokest. So we're going to talk to him about that.
That's exciting.
We're going to talk to him about his new book. We're also going to talk to him about Believers Summit, which is happening in Florida in July. Also, so John's a contributor for Turning Point USA Faith.
Okay, nice.
And so I know the guys at Turning Point. They actually have a job open in Nashville for Turning Point Faith. For their regional managers. So if you're looking for work and you want to do work that's really going to like move the needle and change stuff, tpusa.com/careers.
It's awesome
to get involved there. And if you need any insight or advice, shoot me a text on the Members Nutrition text line 615-737-9986. I always get messages where people are like, I want to do more. How do I get involved?
Yeah.
Well, this is a good way to do it, and you don't have to move across the country. You can do it right here in Nashville. So we'll talk to John next. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. The threat of storms is going to linger into the weekend. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. With wars raging, we see reports that the U.S. is set to announce another $275 million in artillery and ammunition shipments for Ukraine. Labor Department says the number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits dropped last week, falling to 215,000, down from 223,000 the week before. And right now in Middle Tennessee,
God save me. Please save me.
Pleasant View homeowner Dawn Irvin telling Channel 4 a tree crashed through her ceiling during strong storms yesterday.
I couldn't breathe. I was terrified. I poked my head out of my bedroom door and I kind of looked down the hallway and I saw this branch.
Now, today's timeline for strong to severe storms starts at 11 o'clock this morning, runs until 8 o'clock tonight. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, I'm here to talk about 2 books available at multiple high schools and SPS.
Banning books. This is 2024, banning books.
This is what it says. So he bends me over the bed. I tell him to stop. It hurts.
Again, the idea that you would restrict information.
The condom, of course, is covered in SH. If this book remains in the school system, you all are either punks or perverts.
Other parent things, do you ever think we'd be talking about banning books in America?
Every last one of you have a responsibility to do what's in the best interest of children. And if teaching them about and feces on condoms is what the left wants you to do, then you need to go right and do what's best for the kids.
Amen. I have so much respect for my next guest, Pastor John Amanchukwu. Pastor John, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, my friend. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Hey, we really appreciate you being here. You know, you've been on Super Talk 99.7 with me a couple times, but this is the first time where you are like the busiest I've ever seen you, man. You're going to woke school boards, some of the wokest in the country. You were in Missouri. You got a brand new book coming out on Monday, Hoodwinked, and then you have Believer Summit in July with Turning Point USA's Faith Department. How do you have the energy to keep going and keep doing all this, John?
First and foremost, I trust in the Lord to keep me and strengthen me. And then I have the best wife ever. You know, having a wife who supports you and can handle things pertaining to the home and encourage you is definitely so beneficial for me. And so I just thank God for these things.
Amen. So tell me about your book. I'm really excited about it. It's called Hoodwinked, 10 Lies Americans Believe and the Truth That Will Set Them Free. It's coming out on Monday. Give me kind of like a rundown on the book.
Yeah, so they actually had to push the release to Tuesday, but hey, everyone that's listening, you can go and pre-order a copy today. I am trying to make all of the lists with this book. If people can write pornographic books for kids and they sell millions of copies, why can't this book be a New York Times bestseller?
Well, I hope it is, man.
And that's my prayer as well, and I think coming on your show just might make it happen. But however, this book, the title of it in particular is an antiquated term. It's very old. The term hoodwinked simply means for a person to have a hood on their head or to be blindfolded to the point that they can't see any light. It means to be beyond blindfolded. And that's where we are in our culture today. People are so blindfolded that they can't see truth. And you know, truth removes the hood because truth is a train wreck. Truth rocks your world. Truth was the ultimate thing that led to the death of Jesus Christ, because he wanted to proclaim and let them know that he was the Son of God, and he would tear down the temple. And in 3 days, they thought that he was talking about a natural building, but he was talking about his physical body. And so truth is expensive. And so I go through this book addressing 10 lies that's very, at times polarizing for some people, but it's really just simple things that we need to get right. Number one, the first lie is America is a racist nation. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that racism is real. People who support critical race theory would tell you that whites are inherently racist. I don't agree with that. I believe that racism is not a skin tone or a color, but racism is sin. Racism is a choice. You choose to be racist or to have a prejudice or a bias. But when we consider this lie that America is a racist nation, we have to keep in mind that if America is a racist nation, why do we have such a border crisis at this time? Why are people fighting to get into our country? According to a Pew Research Center study that was done in 2019, it showed that there are 4.6 million black immigrants living in the U.S. today. And by 2060, that number is supposed to balloon to about 9.5 black immigrants living in America. If America is such a racist nation, why are more people fighting to get in than fighting to get out?
Exactly.
And then how do you explain a black man, President Barack Hussein Obama, who won an election for presidency in 2008 and in 2012, when you know the fact that blacks only make up 13% of the overall population in America, the only way for a black man to win twice at running for president is that white people have to vote for him.
Yep.
See, the notion of this conversation around racism is a tool to keep blacks on the liberal plantation. And so be prepared that as President Trump is gaining more support in the black community and the support for blacks is diminishing on Biden's side, they're going to find a way to conjure up some type of police shooting, some issue, some statement that someone said as a tool to make blacks angry with whites so that they can remain in support of the Democrat Party and support the sinister plan that white liberals have had for blacks for a long time. I'll just put it there.
Well, and you kind of see that plan in action now already when you see Biden going to Morehouse in his commencement speech where he says black men are being gunned down in the streets and America's, Republicans don't think America's for them. We're seeing this in action already.
Yes, we are. That's a small dose of what's to come.
You think it's going to get a lot worse?
Oh, I do. It has to, because blacks are the cash cow of the Planned Parenthood movement and of the Democrat Party. They need us to win elections. And as they continue to do things to conjure up inflammatory statements and passions and feelings to keep blacks voting for the Democrat Party, they're also keeping the border open because they want cheap votes.
Yep.
And so, but blacks must see, number one, we've been hoodwinked. We have a hood over our head. We've gone from seeing the KKK wear the hood to now blacks are hooded. We've been lied to. We've been tricked. We've been bamboozled. We've been run amok. And we fail to see that we have become the cheap prostitutes of the Democrat Party. They screw us and barely pay us, and we keep coming back for more. The Democrat Party hates black America, but we have now become the black face for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. And behind the black face of DEI is a movement of white liberals who are pushing secular humanism, supporting trans zealots, and screaming death to America.
You're absolutely right. Do you think that the Democrats are seeing what we're seeing? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like more and more black Americans are waking up to the lies of the Democrat Party. You see them in very liberal cities like New York and Chicago and, all over the country in predominantly black areas. And they're saying we need Trump back in office.
Oh, by all means. I mean, keep in mind that in 2020, President Trump received 9% of the black vote. As of 2024, he's trending about 22%. And so, yes, we expect President, I call him O. Biden, because he represents the Obama-Biden administration.
Yeah.
I believe that what he did at Morehouse, man, that's just a tip. That's just a small dose of what's coming. But yes, we're seeing it. It's clear. And blacks are also noticing that, hey, man, you all are bringing in these criminal, illegal aliens and calling them asylum seekers and newcomers. And they're coming into our communities in places like Chicago and New York. And you all are telling us to house them. And if we house them in New York, then we'll send you funding. And you're giving them prepaid debit cards, and credit cards to support the criminal illegal aliens, who many of which are bringing fentanyl and crime and drugs into our communities, driving the wrong way on highways and killing innocent family members and loved ones. But at the same time, blacks are told, yes, you need the Democrat Party because you need handouts. And so when Lyndon B. Johnson created welfare states, it was strategic. He found a way to remove the black man from the home and replace him with a $300 to $400 check. And he said, and I quote, that I will have these N-words voting for the Democrat Party for the next 200 years. And Joe Biden has done something that it took probably around the time frame of 1960 to take place, around Nixon's time frame, and that's convinced blacks to no longer want to support the Democrat Party. So thank you, Joe Biden. Keep it up.
I always joke, is like, he is unifying America. He's just unifying us against him. There's a Chicago activist for Trump, black Chicago activist, Antoine Tucker, and he has a great line. He says, you can call Trump racist and you can say all these mean things, but he would never put an illegal alien above a black American or an Asian American or an Indian American or a Latino American ever. And Joe Biden, we see him doing that every single day.
Yes, he does it, because he knows that we have to find a way to win this election. So what are we going to do? We're going to bring in undocumented people.
So the book...
numbers...
Oops, sorry. Keep going. Sorry, sir.
And the number is around 10 million, somewhere around that, but it's probably more that have come into our country since 2020.
The book is called Hoodwinked, 10 Lies Americans Believe and the Truth That Will Set Them Free. It is out on Tuesday, May 28th. My mistake, I said Monday earlier. Where can people find the book, and how is it being received?
It's being received well. You can go to iknowgod.us, iknowgod.us. Get a copy there, support the movement. Also, you can go to Amazon. Amazon owns nearly 80% of the book market, so you can make a purchase there. I'm also raising up 400 people nationally to go to school board meetings and contend and stand against the woke mafia and the agenda thereof. If you would like to receive my battle plan, go to iknowgod.us and get it there. The book is lighting up the charts right now. It's moving quite well. These lies in this book are topics that people don't want to address. When you start talking about the lie that being against abortion is just part of the white evangelical worldview, you are destroying the narratives of the Democrat Party. I even talk about the lie that capitalism causes poverty, and Christianity is the white man's religion, and debt can be canceled, and disagreement equals hate, and transgender people are under attack. And if you're anti-pornography, you're a book banner. And then the last two are critical. The lie that the Bible isn't political and that the church is not essential. Get this book today.
Hey, I'm really looking forward to reading it, Pastor John. And you actually are also going to be at the Believers Summit, which is happening in West Palm Beach, Florida, July 26th to 28th with Turning Point Faith. You're one of the key speakers there. Can you tell me a little bit about what Believers Summit is and what you guys are aiming to do with Believers Summit?
Well, it's just a time to bring the ecclesia together, the church, the called out ones, to pray and to go before God and to empower each other to prepare to vote in the upcoming election. And so one of the things that we oftentimes discuss and say is that the church just needs to vote biblical values. If you have a pastor who doesn't address the cultural issues of our day, you have my permission to go find a new church. Yep. If your pastor never talks about critical race theory and gender theory, queer theory, intersectionality, or what's going on around us, if your pastor had nothing to say about the transgender day of visibility that took place on Easter Sunday, you are in a woke church. Find a new church ASAP.
So I know good people, Pastor John, and they're in a woke church. What does somebody like me do to kind of shake them and wake them up?
Well, the reality is, first and foremost, the pastor is going to have blood on his hands and be judged by God. That pastor will be sent to hell. The Bible tells us in Revelations 21:8, it says, it gives us 8 reasons why people will go to the lake of fire, and number 1 is for being a coward. And the Bible talks about if the blind leading the blind, and if the blind leads the blind, then they'll both fall into a ditch. And so if your pastor is blind and tone deaf, and he won't talk about what's going on, he's leading you astray. And so, yes, we need to be vocal. And sometimes it requires us being confrontational. And being confrontational isn't bad, because sometimes confrontation is the remedy that's necessary to get to truth. And so to those of you out there who may be going through that, try to schedule a meeting with your pastor and be honest with him. Don't do it out in the open in front of people, but be honest privately with him and tell him what you think and tell him what you feel.
Pastor John Amachukwu, he's a Turning Point Faith contributor. He's one of the best guys I know. Thanks for joining the show today, man. I really hope that you get a #1 New York Times bestseller with your new book, Hoodwinked.
Thank you so much. I'm well on my way after coming on your show.
Hey, you're way too kind. Where can we find you on social media, Pastor John?
You can find me on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, now X, at REVWU Truth, Rev Woo Truth. You can go to iknowgod.us. All of my handles are there, and you can click there and follow me.
Pastor John Amachukwu on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate you, man.
God bless you. Thank you.
Hey, God bless. It's 9:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
It is 10 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories and taking a look at traffic. See, we've got a problem in Rutherford County. Crash is blocking the left shoulder. This is going to be 24 eastbound just past Almaville Road. That's about a 24-minute delay right now. Threat of strong to severe weather will linger into the weekend, and NOAA has issued its highest ever hurricane season forecast. We're talking about anywhere from 8 to 13 named hurricanes predicted for the upcoming season starting June 1st. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Big news in the live music industry. Andrea Fujii says the U.S. government and dozens of states have officially sued Live Nation, alleging that for years the parent company of Ticketmaster abused its industry dominance to hurt concert goers nationwide.
The investigation began 2 years ago after the Taylor Swift Eras Tour ticket meltdown when Ticketmaster's site crashed, leaving fans brokenhearted.
The tickets are so overpriced that the average person isn't going to be able to go anymore.
Customers accused Ticketmaster and Live Nation of speculative sales and hidden fees.
Live Nation President Joe Birch told ABC this week the company has no issue with any venue that says they want to be non-exclusive, but he insisted many venues prefer using only one ticketing service to streamline their operations. Marijuana or booze? Sherry Preston reports on findings of a study claiming more people say they use cannabis daily than alcohol.
According to a new study by Carnegie Mellon University, more people say they are habitual users of pot than are habitual drinkers. Researcher Jonathan Calkin says it's a turnaround from previous years.
For the first time, it reversed. And there were actually more Americans self-reporting that high-frequency use of cannabis as opposed to alcohol.
In 2022, over 17.5 million people reported using cannabis every day, as opposed to 14.5 million regular consumers of alcohol.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, all the things. At Chris Hand on air. So we had Pastor John on the show. He said we were going to help him get him to a #1 New York Times bestseller.
That's where it started, right? Come on, you got to get on the Chris Hand show.
And so Sharon tweeted at me and Pastor John, said she just ordered Hoodwink. So I was like, we got one.
Got you one, John.
If you wanted to pre-order Pastor John Amachukwu's book, I sent out the link at Chris Hand on air on Twitter, so it's easy to find. I know I've gotten a lot of texts on how to spell his last name. Mm-hmm. It is a doozy.
It is. I've
butchered it myself. He remember the last interview? He said, by the way.
Yes, he did.
This is how you say my last name. Sorry. I got it, but the funny part was I got it right the first interview.
You did.
And I know him. I know this guy. I always just say Pastor John because I'm like,
Pastor
John.
It works.
We were on the phone last night. I answered. Hey, Pastor John.
Hey, Pastor John.
Right?
Don't even touch it.
When you called him, for the show, Max says, what do I call him? Like, just go with Pastor John.
Pastor John. Yeah.
Pastor John. Revwu Truth is his handles on the socials. He's a great guy. Definitely looking forward to his book. I asked him if I could get my copy autographed.
Ooh.
Have not received a response yet. No, I'm just kidding. He's awesome. So Hoodwinked is the book. You can find the link at Chris Hand on air. 3036 today. Just pre-ordered 2 at Amazon. There you go. 1 for you, 1 for a friend.
Yes.
We're up to 3.
Yes.
We're up to 3. So
let's go.
When he's the New York Times #1 bestseller, there's going to be 4 of us that really, really helped put him over the top.
Yeah, when he goes on Good Morning America, he's like, well, I just want to shout out the Chris Hand show. Without him.
You 4. Really. That was what
put us over the edge.
Yeah, thank you. So we're just here to take the credit that we deserve. No, Pastor John's awesome. You know who else I was pretty surprised about last night while I was doing my show prep?
Who's that?
Nikki Haley.
Your girl.
My girl. She's back.
Of our allies and hold our enemies to account. Who would secure the border, no more excuses. A president who would support capitalism and freedom. A president who understands we need less debt, not more debt. Trump has not been perfect on these policies. I've made that clear many, many times. But Biden has been a catastrophe. So I will be voting for Trump.
Whoa! I mean, we kind of knew that she was going to, right? But we knew that.
Having said that.
Oh, here comes the disclaimer. You ready for the disclaimer? And every never Trumper, it's like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. It's got to come with a disclaimer.
Having said that, I stand by what I said in my suspension speech. Trump would be smart to reach out to the millions of people who voted for me and continue to support me.
Well, to be fair, I would like to start with a honk, like she's going full clown world. The people that supported you in the primaries were mostly Democrats.
And not assume that they're just going to be with him.
Well, they're not going to be with him. They're Democrats, Nikki.
And I genuinely hope he does that. Of our allies.
And then she gets the golf clap treatment. Very nice.
Clap crew.
Clap crew is there. Nikki Haley endorses Donald Trump. We knew this was going to happen. And it's the smart political move. I was talking with a friend on Twitter last night, Erin. She sent me this. She's like, why would she do this? And said, well, because most Americans have the memory of a goldfish. And in 4 years, nobody's going to remember the surge. Nobody's going to remember the canceled appearances because of snowstorms. Nobody's going to remember her palling around with Sununu in New Hampshire. They're going to forget all that. And Nikki Haley wants to continue her political career because her career is grifting for the military-industrial complex. There's going to be more wars. There's going to be more weapon sales. And Nikki Haley's donors, they're going to be there. She wants to be there too. That's what this is about. She doesn't like Trump. You could tell by the way she said.
Having said that,
The way she disclaimed the whole thing. She's not enthusiastic about supporting Trump, but she does know that she wants to keep the money flowing in, and this is the way to do it. Because by all accounts, Trump is looking primed to win a presidential election. He's leading in so many swing states. And there's new polling data out from the Hill Decision Desk that he's leading Biden by 5.4% in North Carolina, even with RFK included. He's leading in all these places. We just talked to Pastor John Amachukwu. Historic numbers with the black vote. And he's got a rally happening today in the Bronx, of all places. And residents in the Bronx, they're excited for Donald Trump to be coming into their neighborhood.
Everybody's struggling. People are getting desperate, too. That brings the crime up. When you get poverty and you get a bunch of people that come here that get actually more benefits than the people that been here, then what?
This is real America. This right here, people are paying 30, 40% more. We were just going to buy Windex to clean the windshield. Everything is expensive. Everybody is hurting. People need to see that their leader cares about them. And Donald Trump does care about them. And that's why he's coming here.
Why do you want to see Donald Trump tomorrow?
Well, Donald Trump is the man. Everybody want to see Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is the man.
Donald Trump is the man. Those are residents of the Bronx. I mean, tons of people. There was an interview with Newsmax. Several people expressing that the city's struggling. People are getting desperate. Crime is high. And this all happened under Biden. I played that audio from Antoine Tucker yesterday, and he says it so well. You know, people are going to demonize Trump. They're going to call him a racist. But listen, Donald Trump never put illegal aliens in front of black Americans, brown Americans, white Americans, Asian Americans.
I can promise you right here, Donald J. Trump would never put an illegal before your black, brown, or Asian, yellow.
Yep, he wouldn't. He doesn't. Because Donald Trump is America first. Americans first. A poll from April by No Kid Hungry New York found that 85% of New Yorkers said the price of food is rising faster than their income is. 47% of New Yorkers say they're having a harder time being able to afford food. Food. Joe Biden's going out there and he's campaigning on abortion. People don't care about abortion when they can't eat. So he's going to the Bronx today. When he went to New Jersey, there was 100,000 people that showed up. I envision that there's going to be thousands of Americans showing up to see him in the Bronx. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing the crowd that he draws at this rally. Democrats are terrified about this. AOC was asked about his Bronx rally, and AOC, while commenting on Trump's rally in the Bronx, actually says the quiet part out loud about his criminal trials.
He's doing it in the South Bronx, not to make a point, but because he's got court. And the man practically has the legal version of an ankle bracelet around him, and he can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court.
Oh. He can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court. He has a legal electronic bracelet around his ankle. Yeah, well, we knew that's what was going on with the court cases. Everybody knows that's what's going on with the court cases. Trump, on numerous occasions, has said that's what's going on with the court cases.
Let me just tell you that the White House is the person or the group, whatever. They're the one trying this case. You heard who was doing all the talking. Representative from the White House. Just recently, this is all about Biden can't campaign, so he's trying to injure his opponent. They're trying to hurt the opponent because they can't win it fair and square.
Yep.
It's lawfare. There are a lot of terms for it. It's a third world country way of campaigning. Such a disgrace. So sad to see what's happened to our country. Our country's going to hell under Biden.
It is, and voters see that. But it's amazing that the White House will deny this. Oh, we have nothing to do with that. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, we know what time it is. And then Biden surrogates and leftists like AOC get out there and they say the quiet part out loud. They agree with Trump.
He's doing it in the South Bronx not to make a point, but because he's got court. And the man practically has the legal version of an ankle bracelet around him, and he can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court.
And that's why they're going after Trump in court, because they don't want him to campaign. But it's failing miserably. Miserably. And the polling reflects that. So Biden goes out there, and Biden has to do Biden things. He panders. Right? He goes to Morehouse and he pushes racism and he pushes divisiveness. Kamala Harris goes out there. They know they're losing black support. So she goes out there and she panders.
A lot of my work around access to capital has focused on young men of color, black men and black men, knowing that, again, so many entrepreneurs, and it's when people think black men and small businesses, it's not just a barbershop.
She's just racist while she's doing it. Who thinks black men only own barbershops? Well, Kamala Harris and the racists of the Democrat Party think that. But the reality is she goes out there and she panders because what support are you losing the fastest, Kamala?
Young men of color, black men and black men.
Yeah. Yep. That's who you're losing support with the fastest. And prices are crazy. Prices are crazy. So Biden has to do something else drastic. Biden's going to sell off 1 million barrels from U.S. gasoline reserves in a desperate attempt to lower gas prices. Yep. We're gonna make prices better. This was Tuesday. The Biden administration announced that it was going to conduct the sale of nearly 1 million barrels of gasoline from the Northeast Gasoline Supply Reserve in an attempt to lower prices at the pump as Americans gear up for their summer road trips. Which is like, it sounds like a lot, but a million barrels, it's not. It's not. There's going to be nearly 42 million gallons of fuel delivered to respective buyers by June 30th. So it's a drop in the bucket. It's not going to last a day. But he wants to be able to go out there and say, I'm doing things for you. But, in all reality, he's doing terrible things. According to the Department of Energy's Office of Petroleum Reserves, 998,824 barrels of gasoline are going to be released from the reserves. These reserves were set up in the wake of Hurricane Sandy. The bulk of that 900,000 barrels is coming from a storage site in Port Reading, New Jersey. The remainder will come from one in South Portland, Maine. Bids from prospective buyers are due by May 28th. They will be allowed to purchase 100,000 barrels apiece. And they say the Biden-Harris administration is laser focused on lowering prices at the pump for American families, especially as drivers hit the road for summer driving season. This isn't going to last a day. Summer driving season, 1 million barrels of gasoline is not going to change the landscape of prices for summer driving season. But they have to do something because according to the American Automobile Association, the average gas price across the nation is at $3.61. In California, we've seen prices north of $5 a gallon for a while. I saw some signs where they were like $7 a gallon. Cheapest gas in the country, New Mexico. Price sits at $3.30 a gallon. And since Joe Biden was elected in November of 2020, gas prices have been a constant thorn in his side. When he was sworn into office, the national average was $2.42 a gallon. Some prices as low as $1.89. In 22 and 23, it jumped to 341 and 344 respectively. And he previously did this with the U.S. strategic oil reserves. He depleted those in an effort to lower prices. You remember that. We all remember that. How long did it last? Not long. Have they refilled the reserves? No, they haven't. Are we in a better position security and safety-wise having those reserves empty? Probably not. But Biden is willing to do anything to help his short-term numbers. Long-term consequences be damned. It's 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got a crash in south of Nashville. The right shoulder is blocked, 24 eastbound at I-40. And Ticketmaster's parent company, Live Nation, under attack by the federal government and 30 state attorneys general seeking to reduce concert ticket prices. This story and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, I'm Chris Hand. Find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on air. Jason, who's in Michigan, he's disagreeing with me. So obviously, Jason, you have to go to the front of the line. What are we disagreeing about, Jason?
It's not a total disagreement. It's just part of the story left out about the gas reserves.
Okay.
Joe didn't have nothing to do with that. He just signed the bill that the Congress, bipartisan bill was passed. That was put in during one of the government extensions to close that reserve. Now, Joe is pandering, picking the date when it's depleted, but he didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, it was Tuesday. The Biden administration announced that they're going to be conducting that sale. So that's how I have the story.
But that was bipartisan.
But
actually, it was the Republican brought up.
He's using this though. He's using this though to make it seem like he's doing something good for Americans.
And he had nothing to do with it.
And furthermore, when you release 1 million barrels of gasoline, right? We use
22 million a day.
In 2023, it was 9 million barrels of finished gasoline a day.
Which you get about 10 to 12 gallons out of a barrel of oil.
So this is gas. This isn't oil.
Oh,
so
yeah, I understand.
But no. So this release is it's not from the Strategic Petroleum Reserves.
I understand. It's from the gas reserves in the Northeast.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was Congress, both sides, bipartisan, brought that up in one of the government extensions, further kicking the can down the road. Part of that was to close that reserve.
But the fact remains that Biden is using this for political reasons, and selling off 1 million barrels of gasoline is quite literally going to do nothing for the summer driving season.
Zero.
Absolutely nothing.
That'll be gone in a day.
Less than a day.
The only complaint was that it was less, the whole thing wasn't there.
Fair enough. Hey, I appreciate the call, Jason.
Have a good weekend, man.
You too, man. Let's go to Brett in Chattanooga. What's up, Brett?
Hey, Chris, one of the things I think people are missing too is that we're not talking about diesel prices. And like when I'm paying $4.50 a gallon 2 years ago, it cost me about $1,100 to fill up the truck. Now then, at $9 a gallon in California, it's costing me $22.50.
Jeez.
And you talk about the Ticketmaster prices that they're talking about now. You realize that some of those concerts, they've got 20 trucks, all of your gear, all over everywhere, and prices have doubled on fuel. But they're not going to absorb that. They're going to pass it on to the consumer, which has to buy tickets.
Yep.
So if Congress wants to and I'm no Ticketmaster fan. I mean, they're owned by China. But if you want to get down to it, they've got to get a hold on the prices that it costs to get goods and services across the country, not just us going to the grocery store. That's why when we're going to the grocery store, it's costing us 3 times as much as it did 4 years ago.
Yeah, but they're never going to get it under control because Biden doesn't want to do any drilling in America. So we're beholden to foreign countries, some of which are hostile towards us for our energy. When under Trump, we were energy independent.
And we're sending billions of dollars to these people that are holding us hostage for gas prices.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
And they want to kill us, which makes absolutely no sense at all. I don't understand when everything's said and done, he ought to be brought up on treason charges and face the consequences.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. And you're not the only one that thinks that way. And you look at the damage done. Pendulum swing. If you're allowed to bring Trump to court and to trial over pardon my pun, trumped up charges, then you have to be able to look at Joe Biden, right? Well, his son is in legal hot water. He committed perjury. That's what the House Ways and Means Committee is saying, and they've moved his trial date once again. I got the latest on Hunter Biden after Ken Weaver's newscast, which happens right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
10:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And Middle Tennessee is going to be under threat of severe weather all the way through the weekend. Meanwhile, forecasters just announced their prediction for the upcoming hurricane season with 8 to 13 hurricanes possible. The highest ever hurricane prediction. Hurricane season starts June 1st. Full forecast in 2 minutes. After a 2-year-long investigation, the Department of Justice is officially seeking to break up the owner of Ticketmaster to reduce ticket prices. The Justice Department and 30 state attorneys general lawsuit filed today in the Southern District of New York claims Live Nation crowds out competitors, makes concert goers pay more. The firm attracted scrutiny back in 2022 when Ticketmaster's system crashed due to overwhelming demand for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
10:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. You can listen to us wherever you go. iHeartRadio, TuneIn. Those are the apps, or you can watch us. Super Talk TV. Hello, hey, how are you? On Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and I'm missing one. YouTube.
They don't like it's there.
No. They said, what do you think of my show? They said, not a fan. Oh, jeez. All right. Hunter Biden. Have you seen what's going on with Hunter Biden?
A little bit.
House committee votes to release evidence that Hunter Biden indisputably lied under oath to Congress.
Breaking news now. House Ways and Means Committee just voted to release documents related to Hunter Biden's closed-door deposition from February. The committee says the documents show Hunter Biden lied to Congress. Those documents are expected to be released shortly. So if we get them, we will share them. They're expected to be released shortly.
So I haven't seen the documents if they've been released yet. At my last check, they were not. But it's going to be fun. House Ways and Means Committee voted Wednesday. They're releasing 100 pages of new evidence that shows Hunter lied under oath to Congress during his February 28th deposition. So the evidence is provided by IRS whistleblowers. You know these guys, Gary Shapley, Joseph Ziegler, who they probed Hunter's finances. Those are the guys that were doing it. And they say that this reveals indisputably Hunter lied at least 3 times during his sworn testimony, the panel's majority said after voting in a closed-door executive session for its release. So the word is that Hunter claimed he was high or drunk, which is, I'll give him that. He probably was. That he was high or drunk when he sent threatening text messages to the wrong Chinese business associate. But phone records of the WhatsApp messages show the associate, Raymond Zhao, responded and knew exactly what the president's son was talking about when he asked to speak with the chairman of CEFC China Energy, Yi Jinming. He said, "Sure, I need some time to reach him," a translator for CEFC wrote back in messages over the next day. CEFC is willing to cooperate with the family. This is from the New York Post. The first son also kept exchanging messages with Zhao after making the threat that he was sitting with his father, Joe Biden, and said they would both hold a grudge if the CEFC translator reneged on a commitment. The Zhao that this is sent to is not the Zhao that was connected to CEFC. That's what Hunter testified, apparently suggesting it was Henry Zhao, the chairman of Harvest Fund Management, who partnered on a separate deal with Hunter's firm BHR Partners. In his initial interview with House investigators last year, the IRS whistleblower Shapley had identified Henry Zhao as the intended target of the son's of the first son's message, of Hunter's first message. Within 10 days, however, CEFC had wired $5 million to bank accounts linked to Hunter Biden, according to a 2020 Senate Republican-led committee report on the transfers. And again, the text message said, "My father's sitting next to me." But in the interview, Hunter said, "My father was not sitting next to me. My father had no awareness of the business that I was doing. My father never benefited from any of the business that I was doing." Do you believe him? Honestly, do you believe him? It was the New York Post in October of 2020. They had a report that revealed the May 2017 email written by Biden family associate James Gilliar, who referenced the big guy, Joe Biden, receiving a 10% cut from the proposed joint venture with CEFC. Joe's brother, James Biden, was also penciled in for a stake. And he later wrote a $40,000 check for a loan repayment to Joe Biden in September of 2017. The other IRS whistleblower, Ziegler, he also provided documents to the committee that showed Hunter signed off on and was the beneficial owner of a Rosemont Seneca Bohai bank account, despite his testimony that it was not under my control or affiliated with me. And Hunter also said he didn't even know there was such a thing. as a corporate secretary of an entity. He said, I, Robert Hunter Biden, hereby certify that I am duly elected, qualified, and acting secretary of Rosemont Seneca Bohai LLC. That's from a signed document from April 29, 2014, which allowed the first son to enter into a contract with Porsche Financial Services. Hunter also falsely denied that he helped his associates with any work as it's related to visas that they needed, or pick up the phone or call anybody for a visa. But there's also a February 2015 email obtained by the Ways and Means Committee that show Hunter, his ex-business partner Devin Archer, and other associates trying to secure a visa for the founder of Ukrainian gas firm Burisma, Mykolai Zolchevsky. In that email, it says Hunter is checking with Miguel Ailman to see if he can provide cover to Kola on the visa. Devin Archer wrote in the email, before adding Burisma associate Vadim Porchesky, please send Hunter an email with all of Kola's passport and visa documents and evidence and copy me. We'll take it from there. We'll take it from there. Hunter Biden has once again shown he believes there are two systems of justice in this country, one for his family and one for everyone else, said House Ways and Means Chairman Jason Smith, who's a Republican out of Missouri, in a statement. Not only did Hunter refuse to comply with the initial subpoena until threatened with criminal contempt, but then he came before Congress and lied. Lying during sworn testimony is a felony offense that the Department of Justice has prosecuted numerous individuals for in recent years, and the American people expect the same accountability for the son of the President of the United States. Hunter Biden lies under oath, and obstruction of a congressional investigation into his family's potential corruption calls into question other pieces of his testimony. This newly released evidence affirms once again that the only witnesses who can be trusted to tell the truth in this investigation are the IRS whistleblowers. Pretty crazy stuff. The Ways and Means evidence also included a series of emails between the IRS whistleblower Shapley and former Delaware Assistant U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf discussing an update on one of the witnesses for Hunter's then ongoing tax probe. In a signed May 2024 affidavit, Shapley revealed that Wolf and DOJ tax attorney Jack Morgan had been summoned to the CIA in Langley, Virginia, to receive a classified briefing about the witness, Hunter's sugar brother, Kevin Morris. No grown man should have a sugar brother, but I digress. She reiterated more than once that they were summoned to the CIA in Langley concerning Mr. Morris, and that because of the information provided there, he could not be a witness for the investigation. Shapley recalled of the phone conversation with Wolf around August 2021. CIA Chief of Legislative Affairs, James Catella, had previously described the allegations as false in an April letter to the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, who first inquired about it with the agency. The CIA didn't respond to requests for comment. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. And then Hunter's other trial, the one for the gun charge, it's been moved. It's been officially moved. So the new trial, I'm sorry, this is for the federal tax crimes. It's hard to keep track of all of Hunter Biden's legal issues. I wonder which one's more hard to keep track of. The Trump legal issues that are lawfare, or the Hunter Biden legal issues that are being, obscured and hidden by the same people that are going after Trump. It's amazing. The tax trial was going to be heating up, but it's now moved to September. And they're saying the outcome for that is expected immediately before the election. Federal judge in California agreed to delay Hunter's trial on federal tax crime charges until September 5th. He was scheduled to face a jury at the end of June. His separate trial in Delaware on the gun charges is still on track for June 3rd. But the timeline is going to be fun because it puts his charges for illegally obtaining a gun and tax invasion as the center stage for the 2024 presidential election. So you're going to have the June gun charge trial going on right before the debates, and then you're going to have the tax evasion charges going on right before the election. Wild. So Hunter Biden is charged in Delaware with 3 charges related to illegal possession of a gun. If convicted, he faces up to 25 years in prison. And then last week, U.S. District Judge Mary Ellen Noreika rejected throwing out the federal gun case against Hunter Biden, clearing way for that trial to start June 3rd. They say that trial will last up to 9 days. If he's convicted in the tax evasion case, Biden faces a maximum of 17 years in prison. The timeline there means if he's convicted in either trial, the president's son could face prison as his father runs for a second term in the White House, which always goes back to the question, will Joe pardon Hunter? Obviously, right? Wouldn't that be the last thing you would do as you leave office? You would pardon your son. And honestly, of course he will. Who wouldn't? Unless it's a absolutely vile crime. Every father would pardon their son. I don't even blame Joe for that. But the pardon incoming if Hunter is convicted in either of these trials, and in either of them, honestly. But the gun charge one is wild. There's more coming out about what he did when he tried to pin the missing handgun on and who he tried to blame it on. So the story is that Hallie Biden, threw Hunter's gun in a trash can in Wilmington, Delaware in 2018, right? Hunter tried to blame the missing gun on Mexican workers, a new police report reveals. This is from the Daily Mail. Hunter tried to pin the missing handgun on, and I quote, shady and probably illegal, P-R-O-L-L-Y, probably illegal Mexican grocery store workers. That's who he tried to blame his missing handgun on. Mexican workers at a Delaware supermarket that he smeared as shady and probably illegal, according to a 2018 police report published for the first time this week. Yep, the first son made those controversial comments in October 2018 while being interviewed by state police who were looking for his handgun and bullets after his lover at the time and his brother's widow, his lover and brother's widow, Hallie Biden, threw them in a public trash can at Jansen's supermarket in Wilmington, which was across the street from a high school. The police search for the gun led to them obtaining Hunter's gun purchase form, in which he lied about not being a drug addict, the criminal charge that he now faces in Delaware federal court. And it was all revealed by Politico in 2021. But this new police report has some embarrassing details, and has now been published for the first time. Last among pretrial filings by Delaware prosecutors. It shows that the Delaware State Police wrote up Hallie for stealing his Colt Cobra 38 handgun out of his truck and dumping it in the trash can in front of the supermarket across the street from the high school on October 23rd, 2018. One officer wrote in his report that he interviewed Hunter at the supermarket later that day about who might have fished his gun out of the trash, and Hunter told the officer, Sergeant Vincent Clemens, they have some shady people working at that market, and gestured to 2 Mexican workers, adding that they were probably illegal, then brought up that his father is Joe Biden. Can you imagine what that conversation was like? Hey, we're looking for the gun that you threw away. He's like, it's probably those Mexican grocery workers. Look at them. They're probably illegal. By the way, my dad's Joe Biden. Hunter told Clemens that Hallie Biden, his, at the time, lover and brother's widow, threw the gun away because she was scared he was suicidal. He denied that, but whined that he has been living in a nightmare and told the Sergeant Vincent Clemens to put myself in his shoes and try to feel what it would be like to fall in love with his brother's widow. And then have everyone look at him. Do you think he was high when he was talking to the police officer?
Bingo.
Probably. It's 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. You know Paul. I know Paul. I work with Paul. You should work with Paul. Listen, Paul's been doing this for a long time. You probably hear his show here on WTN, the Investor Coaching Show. We run that every Saturday. It's a great show, 3 to 6, appointment listening for sure. But maybe you don't know how Paul got his start. Before he hosted the Investor Coaching Show, which he's been doing for over 20 years, he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's his background. That's pretty cool. And he's also an avid collector of financial planning designations. Paul has up to 8 now. So as you know, my wife and I, we work with Paul. We heard him on WTN before I got my show here. And when I did come on board, I knew Paul's team was the one I wanted to work with. Here's why. They hold themselves the highest level of fiduciary status. And because of that, Paul wants to make sure I tell you I get paid to do these commercials. He wants the relationship to start off with honesty and transparency. Where else do you hear that? And I love that Paul's team does nothing on commission. Their main focus for you is education. And take it from me, the education has been there every step of the way. When I'm making decisions for my financial future, I never have that uneasy feeling of blind trust because Paul's team will walk you through every option, every scenario, and make sure that you're making informed decisions. They'll look at your whole financial picture because that is unique to you before they start helping you make decisions. But it starts with a 15-minute phone call, and I want you to set up your 15-minute phone call today by going to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
All right, got some pothole repairs slowing things down on 40 westbound in West Nashville. You've got the left 2 lanes blocked there at 46th Avenue to 51st Avenue. Severe weather risk into the weekend. Federal forecasters out with their hurricane season prediction. Major announcement impacting the live music industry. Memorial Day travel getting underway. The best times to avoid congestion on the road and in the air at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I have a foolproof plan to avoid Memorial Day congestion.
Spend it on the couch.
Yep. Nailed it.
Yes, sir.
I think the furthest that I'm going to be going is Percy Priest Lake.
Well,
beautiful.
Better look out for traffic there, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair. That's fair.
Get your hot dogs on Sunday.
Yeah. You know who's going to have more free time this Memorial Day weekend?
Who's that?
Who's that, man?
Klaus Schwab. He's stepping down as World Economic Forum Executive Chairman.
Klaus Schwab.
Do they do Memorial Day over there? I don't think they do it.
No, I don't think they do. No.
I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the globalist and head of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, has reportedly informed his staff that he will be stepping down as the shadowy figure in the corner at the World Economic Forum. The 86-year-old self-appointed Sultan of Davos sent an email to his staff earlier this week announcing that he will no longer run the world's most prominent globalist advocacy group, although he did say he will likely stay on in some non-executive role. A WEF spokesman told Breitbart that the forum will be changing its governance structure and that as a result, Schwab will transition from executive chairman to a chairman of the board of trustees by the start of next year. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's because he has too much name and face recognition.
I just wonder if he started out that announcement, that email with,
Hey.
I'll get back to you. I'm going to fact check that. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the severe weather threat lingering through the weekend. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Meanwhile, Jim Ryan says federal forecasters have released the outlook for the upcoming hurricane season.
Factoring in historically warm water in the Atlantic and a La Nina weather pattern to the west.
NOAA is predicting an above-average hurricane season.
Rick Spinrad heads the federal weather team and expects to see as many as 25 named storms between now and November 30th.
And 4 to 7 are forecast to become major hurricanes with maximum sustained winds of at least 111 miles per hour.
He's urging coastal property owners to prepare now for a historically active hurricane season.
Major announcement this morning impacting the live music industry. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
The Justice Department and 30 state attorneys general say they aim to break up a monopoly involving Live Nation's ownership of Ticketmaster. That merger was cleared by the government over a decade ago, but now the Justice Department says that single company's control of concert promotion, ticket sales, and the venues where artists perform crowds out competition and makes fans pay more. The firm attracted scrutiny in 2022 when Ticketmaster's system crashed due to overwhelming demand for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
And the best advice for the upcoming Memorial Day holiday is leave early. Trevor Alt at LaGuardia.
Every plane that we saw was fully booked. That's going to be a very common theme. What's happening with airlines, it's the case on the roads, too. There's going to be millions of people out there, and even trains we're hearing of some delays and cancellations because of down power lines in the northeastern corridor. So really across the board, the rush is getting started today. And if you're traveling by any means, it's a good idea to have a plan B.
Yeah, 38 million people driving, and the worst traffic is going to be from noon to 6 o'clock today, tomorrow from noon to 7, then the bulk of the afternoons, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home.
It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
.11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. So the Senate today is going to be re-voting on the same border bill that failed in February. Yep, same one. They're going to try to blame Republicans for their unpopular economic policy of mass illegal migration. Democrats are also using the debate to bury the nation's immigration debate about the damage of President Joe Biden's cheap labor migration policy and towards the smaller issue of border management. Democrat Senator Chris Coons said on Tuesday that if this bill passes, it would be effective in bringing order to the southwest border. So this is what they're saying. We need to make it orderly. The orderly goal would allow thousands upon thousands of illegal aliens into the country every day, and it's the exact same bill. Schumer didn't allow any amendments on the bill, none. So they're voting on the same thing. And it's failed already. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about this yesterday, and they're like, is this a cynical attempt?
Border bill, Schumer isn't even allowing amendments, and this exact text failed before. So how can this be seen as anything other than a cynical attempt to try to show Americans that Democrats care about the border?
I mean, I don't know how cynical, I don't understand how that would be cynical when it sounds like Senator Schumer is trying to do his job and move forward a piece of legislation that had bipartisan support, that was negotiated in a bipartisan way that majority of Americans care about. He's trying to move that forward on behalf of not just, of what the negotiators wanted to get done in that bipartisan way, but also this is something that the American people want to see. They want Congress to take action on this particular issue. I'm not sure why that would be cynical.
Well, because there's no changes and the bill already failed. Americans want action, but they don't want the action to look like thousands of illegal aliens being allowed into the country daily, millions a year. The fix that you put in is no fix at all. And Americans are looking at this and going, well, where's the executive action? Like, that's what we need. It was executive actions that caused this mess at the border. We need executive action.
The president has the authority to do something about this unilaterally. Congress is in a divided government right now. Why isn't he doing anything?
Why should he have to do it unilaterally? Why should we do it in a legislative way? And let's not forget that negotiated
action before to undo some of.
Wait, so you're right. He took many executive actions before. But in order to deal with what's happening at the border, in order to deal with a broken immigration system, you need law.
Yeah, you need law. I think that the big takeaway is they go, well, will he do executive actions? Why would he do that?
Right. Why isn't he doing anything?
Why should he have to do it unilaterally?
Why should he have to do it, says Karine Jean-Pierre. Why should he have to? Well, let's, for starters, talk about the illegal aliens that are coming over that are on the terrorist watch list. That's happening in record numbers. We've had 81 suspects on the terror watch list caught trying to illegally cross into the United States since October. 81. So how many didn't get caught? How many weren't apprehended? Because 81 suspects on the terror watch list being apprehended while trying to illegally cross into the United States since October of 2023 is terrifying. And we've all been waiting for the other shoe to drop on the southern border and that a terrorist attack might happen because of the loosey-goosey nature of Biden's Department of Homeland Security. This data from Customs and Border Protection has shown that with 6 months left in the fiscal year 2024, encounters with those whose name appear in the terrorist screening data set are set to come to, if not surpass, the 172 reported in the previous fiscal year. According to Customs Border Patrol, 80 of the aforementioned encounters with Border Patrol agents occurred along the southern border, while just one suspect attempted to enter the U.S. from Canada. At official ports of entry, however, that disparity is completely reversed. 24 coming in via the southern border, 172 via the northern. And in the grand scheme of things, those on the terrorist watch list make up a fraction of a percent of all the illegal aliens being caught by Border Patrol. But that number has been on the rise since Biden took office. And we need to take serious account of this. When I was in Phoenix for America Fest in December, I had the chance to sit down with former ICE director Tom Homan. And he told me, the cartels are running the smuggling operations, right? The cartels, you don't cross the border illegally unless you're paying the cartels. And there's two prices you can pay. You pay a smaller price if you want to be apprehended. You pay a larger price if you don't. So how many people on the terror watch list have gotten through? Honestly, how many? Because I feel like we're going to find out the hard way if we keep going this route. We're going to find out the hard way. I don't want to find out that way. I want to secure the southern border. And when you look at what's happening on the southern border right now, Bill Malugin had a great report on this just yesterday. Bill Malugin's on Fox News. He does a lot of the border stuff. And even he's talking about, he's down at the border, he's encountering illegals coming across, and he's like, guys, not a lot of Mexicans here.
We talked to these guys. There was not a single one of them from Mexico. Take a listen to this. Where are you guys from? What country? Pakistan.
India.
Where are you from? Turkey? Yeah. Turkey. Okay.
India.
Where are you guys from? Turkey. Where are you guys from?
China.
Ecuador? Where are you guys from?
India. Sagar Baba.
India. All India? India. Iran. Y'all from Iran. Why'd you come?
No freedom.
No freedom?
Yes, in Iran. Iran is a dangerous country. No freedom for speak, for writing, for singing, for thinking.
Iran, India, Pakistan, China. And we can talk about the threats of a terrorist attack. You know, we know people are coming from Jordan and people are coming from Egypt, Pakistan, Turkey, right? The terror threat is there, but what about China? The rise of Chinese illegal immigrants has been crazy. They come in much more quiet. They have much bigger plans. We know the Chinese operates illegal police stations in this country, biolabs, right? We've heard all those news reports. It's insanity what's going on at the southern border. Bill Malugin in this report also had a local veteran who lives on the border. And what this guy does is he collects the discarded passports at the border. He collects them, which is amazing because, you know, these people come over and then they get rid of all of their identifying information. They throw it down, they burn it, they discard it because they don't want people to know who they are.
And then take a look at this. We met up with a local resident out here, Corey Gotero. He's former U.S. military. He goes out and he collects all of these discarded passports and ID cards from these illegal immigrants from all around the world as they cross here in the Jacumba area. He's got an entire room full of them. You'll see passports, IDs from China, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, many others. You'll notice many of them are burned or shredded or destroyed in some way as these illegal aliens try to destroy some of these documents as soon as they arrive here in the United States, trying to hide who they are and where they've been. And Gotero says that is a security concern.
They're just dropping this stuff on the ground to come here and assume a new identity. So that's a little bit scary with my military background and seeing the people that are coming across that male, these are all military-aged males. People keep saying that. I've got the proof right here.
And in the video, it's amazing. So many passports. So when Karine Jean-Pierre, during a press conference, they say, you know, why isn't the president doing an executive order? And she says, well, why would he?
Why isn't he doing anything? Why should he have to do it?
Why should he have to do it? We can just point to the passports. Are you kidding? Honestly. Why should he have to? Because somebody needs to. And it was his executive actions that made the border as wide open as it is. 81 terror watch list suspects since October. So many Chinese nationals coming in. This is before we even get to the other stories of just, you know, regular run-of-the-mill illegal aliens and regular run-of-the-mill crime. There is an actual palpable danger that needs to be addressed at our southern border. But the president's not doing it. Of course not. Why would he? J.D. Vance went on... he was at a press conference on Wednesday, and he opposes the immigration bill backed by Biden, which would increase legal immigration levels while allowing tens of thousands of border encounters every month before DHS could enforce stricter border controls. He opposes that. But he says, listen, Biden has the power to end this. Vance said they were bragging about expanding catch and release. They were bragging about ending Remain in Mexico. They were bragging about changing the asylum enforcement laws in this country. Every single one of us said that what you're going to get is a crisis at the southern border. And after 3.5 years of them bragging about a policy change and then seeing the predictable results, we now have a historic crisis. I would say historic invasion at our southern border. That's J.D. Vance yesterday. Vance said Biden opened the southern border and Joe Biden can close the southern border. It's really that simple. And that the legislation would prevent a future administration from solving the problem in the future. He said it's the worst possible combination of immigration policy, and that's why we're going to keep fighting. Vance went on to say, you have to ask yourself, after bragging about opening our southern border, why do Democrats care about this issue? Is it because they haven't seen the wreckage and the carnage of the last 2 years? No. It's because they've seen the polls and they know what's coming. Make no mistake about it. When Democrats try to act like they want to secure the southern border, it's not because they want to secure the southern border. It's because they've seen the poll numbers and they want to secure an election victory in November. They have proved time and time again that they rank the illegal aliens as higher importance and greater value than you. If you're listening to me, make note of this. The Biden administration placed greater value and importance on an illegal alien than they place on you. And we've seen that time and time again. Just yesterday, I was talking about the story where they're now suing another state, this time Oklahoma, because Oklahoma had the audacity to say they can arrest illegal aliens. How dare they? How dare they? Iowa's faced similar lawsuits. Texas faced a similar lawsuit. Arizona faced a lawsuit because they decided to build their own border wall with shipping containers. Texas faced a lawsuit because they decided to put buoys in to stop illegal crossings in the Rio Grande. Time and time again, not just the executive actions, but the lawsuits from the Biden administration are proving they value illegal aliens over you. That's what they do. Marsha Blackburn called this legislation an election year political stunt designed to give our Democrat colleagues the appearance of doing something about this problem without doing anything. She wanted to say we're a nation of law and order, and yet the Biden administration has allowed over 10 million illegals to flood our border. That's higher than the populations of 7 major U.S. cities. Higher population than Boston, the illegals that have come in. Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, Knoxville, Memphis, Nashville, combined. Under this administration, every state's a border state. Every town is a border town. Don't listen to them when they tell you that that's just talking points. It's the truth. And we see it. We see it on the evening news. We see it when Americans are hurt and murdered. We see it with the lack of action. We do. Senator Roger Marshall, who's a Republican out of Kansas, said Biden and the Senate Democrats ought to throw their support behind House-approved H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act. That's an actual legislation that would fix things. H.R. 2 would require the DHS to complete the southern border wall. It would prohibit funding to non-government organizations facilitating illegal immigration. It would require DHS to collect biometric data on all migrants apprehended. It would raise the credible fear standard at the border. It would prohibit asylum for convicts and gang members. It would require DHS to detain and deport illegal aliens. It would reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. It would mandate nationwide E-Verify to prevent employers from hiring illegal aliens, and it would strictly limit parole to prevent mass release of migrants into the U.S. interior. But they don't want to have that conversation. They want to be able to blame Republicans, and it's not working. If you're paying attention, you know it's not working. Unfortunately, there's low information voters out there who are going to go, but it's Republicans' fault. We have this legislation, but the legislation allows in way more before DHS can even step up and do anything at all. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at USS. If you've been having waterproofing problems and you haven't called USS yet, I feel for you because we got more rain coming. It's going to get messy. It is. We had a Facebook friend comment, Sandra, saying, after some of those storms, her basement flooded for the first time. What do you do in those situations? I'll tell you, you call my friends at United Structural Systems. They are your waterproofing experts, and they've been doing this kind of work in Middle Tennessee since 1994. They've been doing it for decades, and they have 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up. You gotta look for the warning signs. Maybe, it's not a massive flood coming in, but you will see warning signs if water's getting into your property. What are the warning signs? Well, you'll notice standing water in your crawl space, so I'd poke your head down there after the rain if you haven't lately. You'll notice wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors. Those are red flags. And when you see those red flags, you got to call USS to come take a look. They'll come to your house, create a custom plan for you, and they won't leave until the work is done and you are satisfied. USS will always give their best. 615-488-7855. If you're having waterproofing issues, call USS today. 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems online, USSTN.com.
West Nashville got some pothole patching, and it has the left two lanes blocked of 40 westbound right before 46th Avenue. Severe weather threat assessment for Middle Tennessee. Hurricane season expected to be active, and the federal government and dozens of states, including Tennessee, officially trying to break up Ticketmaster's parent company to reduce ticket costs. Coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, my gosh. You guys, I just got the funniest email.
What was it?
Okay, do you remember hearing Mandis on Nashville's Morning News talk about the Glock store billboard that we have?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, Ken and Mac, I'm texting you guys this now, okay?
All right.
All right. They made an edit. They made an edit.
Oh, no.
Our friends at the Glock store, they knew that Dan was feeling some type of way about his shiny head. So they made an edit on the billboard.
Oh my God.
They gave him hair. They gave him hair.
I gotta put this on I gotta see if I can get that on the camera.
Can you? Oh yeah, do you see it on the camera? If you're watching that Super Talk TV,
that's beautiful.
That's what Dan. What kind of hairstyle would you call that, Mac?
I mean, that's like a big mohawk. I don't even know what is happening. Like spikes to the next level.
It looks like, you know what it looks like? You ever see those visors that people wear? And it has the fake hair on top?
Absolutely.
It looks like that hair if you didn't have the visor.
That's exactly right.
That's the hair that they put on Dan. It's because they heard him talking about his shiny head. I made the request to my friends at the Glock store. I made the request to my friends at the Glock store to use the version with the hair for the billboard.
Has to.
So
non-negotiable.
If you're driving around and you see me, Dan, and Murphy on the Glock store billboard, let me know if it's the hair version or the shiny head version.
Oh,
that's good.
It's so good. I love it. All right. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way, we got so much more to talk about, including what is going on with Boeing. There's another Boeing story in the news. It seems like every time we get away from a Boeing story, we have another Boeing story. This one is terrifying, honestly, for a guy that's going to be hopping on planes over June nonstop. I'm like, please don't put me on a Boeing. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Middle Tennessee going to be under threat of severe weather through the weekend. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Federal forecasters have just announced the highest ever hurricane season prediction, 8 to 13 between now and Thanksgiving.
4 to 7 are forecast to become major hurricanes, that is Category 3 to 5, with maximum sustained winds of at least 111 miles per hour.
The live music industry might be in for a major shakeup. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announcing the Justice Department and 30 state attorneys general, including Tennessee's lawsuit to reduce ticket prices.
We allege that Live Nation has illegally monopolized markets across the live concert industry in the United States for far too long. It is time to break it up.
And right now in Nashville, Metro Police say they caught a burglary suspect this morning after she fell down trying to climb a hill. Police say 19-year-old Tamara Becton had just left a home on 2nd Avenue where the victim woke up to find her standing in her bedroom. News 2 says Becton claims she didn't burglarize anyone, but police then found the victim's jewelry in Becton's pocket. Booked her on burglary and theft of a motor vehicle charge for which bond was set at $50,000. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Officer, I don't know how that jewelry got in my pocket.
That's my grandma's.
Yeah, it's 11:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at the Glock store. Good guys. Hilarious guys. And I've kind of been like the newbie to the Glock store for a while, but not anymore. Went to my first training session a couple weeks now ago, and I got to get another one on the books because the Shoot 270 ranges are incredible. It's just so different. No lanes, no pains, just you and your instructor in a private room. Honestly, it was the best training I've ever had. I learned more about shooting in that 1 hour than I've learned in all of my lane range sessions put together. I had a guy named Kevin who was just fantastic, and it's just, you're just in a wide open room. It's like how you would, have to shoot in real life, It's so different. Have you experienced the Shoot 270 indoor ranges? they're only at the Glock store. So if you haven't been to the Glock store, the quick answer is no. And an even quicker answer is why not? So if you haven't, June 1st is going to be a great day for you to check it out. Saturday, June 1st, they're having their annual open house, 4th annual. You've probably seen the billboards. Me, Dan, and Matt are going to be on the billboard. Still waiting for the word if we're going to have the shiny head version of Dan on the billboard or the hair version of Dan on the billboard. But I'll keep you updated on that. They're giving away thousands of dollars worth of great raffle prizes at their open house on June 1st. They're going to have great speakers, 2A supporting speakers, political speakers, and they're going to offer 2 of their most engaging shooting competitions with great prizes. The Vortex Fast and Accurate stage and the Nightstick Low Light, No Light stage. I can't tell you enough how cool the low light, no light stuff is. I watched a video of how people train in the Shoot 270 rooms in low light, no light. I am giddy, downright giddy to do low light, no light training. Plus, they're going to have incredible one-day only prices on Glock handguns, performance part flash sales, and they're raffling off a custom Glock worth $1,700 that day. You only need to be there to enter, not to win. The Glock store and Shoot 270, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on June 1st. $11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Sorry, I'm still getting emails about the billboard. So funny. The guys at the Glock store are hilarious. All right, so Boeing. You want to talk about Boeing? Let's talk about Boeing. What's going on? What's going on? I saw an article in the Daily Mail. Revealed 300 Boeing planes used by United and American Airlines have potential flaw that could cause fire or explosion on jets, according to the FAA. 300 planes used by United and American Airlines have a potential flaw that could cause fire or explosion. Jeez Louise. Yeah, this is noteworthy. This is noteworthy. They discovered a flaw that exposes nearly 300 more Boeing planes, saying they're potentially at risk, including jets used by American Airlines and United, according to a notice by the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. The FAA reported the issue in March and requested that Boeing and other outside experts respond by May 9th, but it remains unclear if the company has done so. This is on dailymail.co.uk. A Boeing spokesperson said in a statement that the FAA's notice was part of a standard regulatory process that has helped ensure air travel is the safest form of transportation. This is not an immediate safety of flight issue. But I mean, listen, they can say that, but your ears perk up when you hear Boeing and potential explosions. They say there are multiple redundancies designed into modern commercial airplanes to ensure protection for electromagnetic effects. The 777 fleet has been operating for nearly 30 years and has safely flown more than 3.9 billion passengers. That's what they said in their statement. But this is just the latest safety red flag, which has been directed at Boeing. You know, and this company's been dealing with scandal after scandal. Multiple models of Boeing passenger jets have faced it. Door plug blowouts, mid-air engine fires, 2 deadly crashes. In March of 2024, the Airworthiness Directive proposal, the FAA warned Boeing of an electrostatic discharge or static electricity risk near the center wing fuel tanks. They said the unsafe condition, if not addressed, could result in an ignition source inside the fuel tank and subsequent fire or explosion. Jeez. The FAA projected that the safety fix would cost Boeing, whose market cap is at $113.53 billion, less than $700,000 to correct for all of the 292 vulnerable Boeing 777 aircraft listed within the U.S. registry. So, looks like a quick fix, cheap enough, right? For a company worth over $100 billion, $700,000 to fix it. But the fact that they just caught this is wild. Absolutely wild. The parts required to remove these static electricity-based explosion risks, according to the federal agency, only cost about $98 for each Boeing. The FAA specifically requested that new electrical bonding and grounding be installed to prevent short-circuiting or electrostatic discharge should an air intake near the system, near the 777's center wing fuel tank. The federal agency had based its proposal on this critical fix on its own review of a public notice by the aircraft maker, technically known as the Boeing Alert Requirements Bulletin, which is back from November of 2023. But per the FAA's March 2024 notice, the agency issued its own proposal for a new directive because the unsafe condition described previously is likely to exist or develop on other products of the same type of design. Boeing just keeps finding itself in bad headline after bad headline. I mean, I know that you all have heard the stories about the dead whistleblowers. There was the one whistleblower who succumbed to sudden illness, Josh Dean. There was the other whistleblower who committed suicide, and everybody kind of raises their eyebrows at this, that whistleblowers are, unaliving so quickly. to use a leftist term, unaliving. There's another Boeing whistleblower, and he said he doesn't want to dive into the conspiracy theories of it all, but says he can't help being a little paranoid. So the third Boeing whistleblower, he's spooked after the two others died within weeks of each other. Again, one by a gunshot, another by sudden, fast-spreading infection. The third guy is named Santiago Paredes. He's a former inspector at Boeing supplier Spirit Aerosystems, whose repeated warnings of quality and safety issues were ignored. He went public after his coworker, whistleblower Joshua Dean, died in April. And although the 40-year-old doesn't want to believe the two deaths were part of a conspiracy, he says that he's a little paranoid. Says, but I'm always looking behind my mirror to make sure nobody's car is following me, he told The Independent. I'm not saying that I'm scared, he said, but at the same time, I can't put a blind eye to the reality of what could be. I have to prepare myself for that, he added. I'm picking up the mantle of where my coworker left off, and I have to carry on and see it through. Wild. So the third whistleblower looks at the first two whistleblowers who were mysteriously unalived, and he says, I don't want to weigh into the conspiracy, but I'm a little nervous. The Independent reports that this third whistleblower, Santiago Paredes, spent more than a decade as an inspector and a team leader at Boeing supplier Spirit Aerosystems before leaving in 2022 after repeatedly issuing warnings to his superiors about quality control failings, which at one point resulted in his demotion. Spirit Aerosystems is not to be confused with Spirit Airlines, okay? Spirit Aerosystems manufactures plane components, fuselage, wing parts, and Boeing is its largest customer. Paredes said that he was friendly with Dean, who was the whistleblower who had the fast-spreading infection. Dean was an auditor who contacted him last year and asked him to help with a shareholder lawsuit. Paredes agreed to participate anonymously, but he decided to go public with his claims earlier this month after Dean's death, revealing that he'd been encouraged to play down any defects he found when inspecting plane fuselage. After Dean's death, Paredes said their lawyer said he felt like we were in a battle and we were losing people. I was in a place where I started freaking out about what we were doing, if it was even the right thing. I want to say it's discouraging to lose people, not just friends, but friends who are with you in this battle. And it's not just Paredes who's a bit on the edge. He said, my mom's even scared. He said, I've been like, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be all right. This is something I got to do. Somebody's got to do it. Well, I'm glad that he's blowing the whistle on what are safety concerns. I understand why he would be nervous. And Boeing just has bad headline after bad headline after bad headline. Jeez. Wild story. We'll keep you updated on that. Real quick, before we do the cross with Murphy, have you heard about the new Microsoft laptop?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's not even just a laptop. It's a new line of AI-enhanced Windows PCs.
Whoa. What does that do?
So they're aiming to revolutionize the way users interact with their devices, and they're going to integrate Copilot AI Assistant into the operating system. And so now the AI system in newer Windows laptops that have this AI incorporated into it will take constant screenshots of your activity and track your every move.
Whoa.
Is that a red flag? Would you buy a laptop that's going to take constant screenshots of your activity?
Why is it doing that?
To incorporate AI into the operating system.
So like it figures out what I like and
what you're doing, what you're going to do next.
And then it'll help me?
It's going to track, I guess. It's going to track everything you do.
Yeah, I mean, not my favorite.
Fortune reports that an event held at the company's headquarters in Redmond, Washington, Microsoft CEO introduced the new class of AI personal computers, emphasizing their potential to anticipate users' needs and intentions. They're going to anticipate your intentions. Said we're entering this new era where computers not only understand us, but can actually anticipate what we want and our intent. I'm not buying one of these.
Yeah, I can already tell you're out.
I'm out.
This is certified Chris Hand. Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Top of the list. I already don't like the computers I have. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't like the phone that I have. I'm like, I feel like that has too much information on me. And you're going to say, hey, by the way, this one's going to get even more information on you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be helpful to you.
And like, I'm sure some of it would, but at what cost?
At what cost? They say that the PCs will have a photographic memory feature called Recall that will remember and understand everything you do on your computer by taking constant screenshots.
Oh, that's scary.
Everything.
Oof.
So like that email, like when you're fuming at your wife or your boss that you're typing up and you go, I probably shouldn't send that and delete that. Microsoft will have the screenshot.
Or just when you're like in a food coma watching a YouTube video, and yeah, they got that.
Yep. And is the AI going to have access to your camera too?
Oh, it'd have to.
It would have to.
Of course.
Not a fan. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Matt Murphy, who's got a cold Mountain Dew and some truth to spill. What's up, Matt?
Hello, Chris Hand. How are you?
I'm good.
Chris asked me earlier today, 3 minutes ago.
It was technically earlier.
It was about 3 minutes ago. He said, how's your day going? And I said, yeah, the day's young. Let's find out about it. I got a later start today because I stayed up way too late diving deep down some of these internet rabbit holes. You know the honest answer, though? I did some show research, but you know what I did? Are you familiar with Mr. Ballin?
No.
On social media?
Mr. Ballin?
Hey, Mac Morey, are you familiar on YouTube with a YouTube account called Mr. Ballin?
I don't think I know Mr. Ballin.
So the guy's, it's MRBALLEN.
Oh, it goes the E-N?
And, his last name is Allen.
Oh, okay.
And so it got mistaken early on in his, internet, whatever. He was like something B. Allen. I think his name's like Brian Allen or something like that.
Gotcha.
But he's a military guy that came out of the military, went through a lot of depression, and started doing these story time features on YouTube years ago, almost as therapy, and he is incredibly popular in YouTube circles. He tells he tells the dark, strange, and mysterious.
Okay.
So he tells real life stories. He's a great story. He's a storyteller. That's all he is. And I'm addicted to this guy. I mean, but he's telling stories. He'll tell this story and it'll circle around, and you're like, oh my God, I know this story. I heard about this story, and this is the full story. You tell these missing person stories. And so while I would like to tell you that I was doing copious amounts of research last night, the radio show, I was actually watching 20-minute videos of Mr. Ballin.
It's so funny. When I do my show prep, my wife will be like, well, why are you watching that video over and over again and laughing? I'm like, well, it's for show prep. She's like, there's no way that can be for show prep. And then I'll have to mention it. I'll have to mention it to Mac in passing to have it qualify as show prep. It's like, oh, I'm bringing it up now.
Yeah, come on.
Everything I do on my phone, if my wife asks me what I'm doing, I tell her I'm doing show prep. It does not matter what it is. I mean, but is it not true?
I mean, it's kind of
come on.
True. It is true.
Life is show prep.
Life is show prep.
I got an interesting show today. We're going to move around. So Kerry Roberts is one of the state senators that has been accused by Brandon Lewis on your show, amongst others, of being a rhino and soft on illegal immigration. And he has agreed to come on the show at 105 today. So I'm excited about that, so you can get a different perspective. And I have yet to be able to dive further. I know that it doesn't matter, and I said this yesterday. I know it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, the specific nature of this flight, but I think it does matter in terms of making sure that we're dealing in truth and honesty regarding this Memphis flight. So we're doing that. Then I've got the writer of the Reagan movie on.
The writer of the Reagan movie?
The new Reagan deal that's coming out with Dennis Quaid, starring as Ronald Reagan.
I didn't know that was happening.
Very exciting. I'm very excited about this. Do you go biopic or biopic?
I feel like it would be biopic.
So I think it's biopic.
Feels like that feels too close to bionic.
This is tough,
if we do a book, if I'm reading a book about someone's life, I'm reading a what?
A book.
A biography.
Biography.
So why wouldn't it be biopic?
But yeah, I get what he's saying too, because it's bio.
It's a bio picture.
Yeah.
It's a biographical picture. Yeah. Bio is short for biographical, so it would be biopic.
But the pic. Yeah.
See, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. It's a big debate.
I think, but
big debate.
The debate hinges on what do you do with that O? Because both ways,
it's all about the O.
We're pronouncing both words correctly.
It's all about the O.
It's not a.
It's all about the
It's
O.
a biography.
Everyone knows the internet.
It's not a biography.
That's biography's weird. Everyone knows the internet only tells the truth. So this is the moment of truth here.
Biopic.
Oh.
Biopic. I feel like you sound stupid if you say it that way.
Really?
Biopic?
I feel like it's more awkward to say biopic.
I feel like biopic. I feel like you're taking a sample of something and going and testing it in a lab.
Really? See, that's how I feel about biopic.
Yeah, I feel that way about biopic too.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, scientist.
I got to go in there and get my biopic done.
This is the schism this is the schism that starts the midday show, battle royale. Anyway, there's a new Reagan movie coming out.
Perfect.
and we're going to talk to the writer of the film at 12:35. And then David Corlew, the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project
All right, that'll be fun.
2:05. So it should be a good show.
Big Murphy Show coming up. Hang out with us. We got more all day. You can take us with you wherever you go on the iHeartMedia app, the TuneIn app. You can listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. You can watch this handsome son of a gun on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all the things. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.